Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. Pleasure to be back in Utica. Pleasure to be with Mayor Palmieri and County Executive Anthony Pacenti. It's a pleasure to be with both of you. Sam Berardino, thank you for being with us. Thank you for the kind words. Thank you for the work you're doing with the New York State regional councils. You've been very helpful, so we thank you for that. My colleagues from the New York State Legislature, Senator Joe Griffo, who I've known for many years. We've done a lot of good work in a lot of capacities. He's been in a number of offices, as you know. I've been in a number of offices, and one thing that's remained a constant is we've always worked well together. And I think listening to the Senator, part of the success we've had over the past couple of years in New York was we avoided political gridlock. You know, we have different political parties in New York. I don't know if you've noticed. And that's a good thing. And different opinions is a good thing. And then exchange of ideas is a good thing. It becomes a bad thing when the politics overrides the public policy. And it becomes more about the politics than public service. And the political disputes stop the functioning of government. That has happened in New York before. It's happened in other governments. We did the exact opposite. We said to each other, walking in the door, we may be Democrats, we may be Republicans, we're going to leave the politics at the door because we both work for the people of the state of New York. And we're going to put our political differences aside and find the commonalities. And that worked. And I thank the Senator very much for being here. Anthony Brindisi, he may be young and new, but he is tenacious and he is effective. Today's bill would not have happened without Assemblyman Anthony Brindisi. It's period. Let's give him a round of applause for his good work. The Matt family, thank you very much for the contribution that you've made to the New York economy, to this community. Nick and Fred, thank you very much for taking the time to host us today and for the tour. As you heard, we normally do bill signings in the Red Room in Albany, which is a nice room, but this setting has certain advantages that the Red Room doesn't have, which I intend to take full advantage of. So thank you very much for what you do, and thank you for being here with us today. You heard the message today. It's relatively simple and straightforward. We said 18 months ago that we were going to build a new New York. And part of what the new New York was going to be about was a business-friendly New York. Why? Because unless the economy is doing well, the state is not going to do well. It's that simple. It's not a complicated calculation. You need business to do well because you need jobs, and you need the tax base, and you need working men and women in this state to have a career ladder. And that means businesses have to work, businesses have to thrive, the economy has to grow. And this state, for too long, did the opposite, sent the exact opposite signal, that we were hostile to business, that we were unfriendly to business. And we saw businesses leaving the state of New York. And when the businesses left, the young people left, because people follow the jobs and people follow opportunity. Part of the new New York is reversing that and changing it. And how do you change the perception? You change the reality. And we've been going at both simultaneously. And we get it. You're not going to have a successful economic future if you are the tax capital of the nation. Period. It's that simple. And you can't talk your way around that obvious reality. And government today, it's about finding ways to partner and incentivize private sector growth. And that is the art form. And that's what we're trying to do with the new New York. The first thing we did is reduce the barriers, right? First thing is do no harm. How does government do harm? Anti-business regulations, too high a tax structure. So we set about reforming the tax code, which we did. Property tax cap, which was highly effective. New York is one of the highest property taxes in the nation. And you'll hear complaints about it all across the state. So we passed a property tax cap to cap the growth of property taxes. And then we reduced income taxes for the middle class. Middle class broadly defined from $30,000 to $300,000 per year income. This year, the middle class in New York will pay the lowest tax rate in 58 years. Just think about that, 58 years. Jackie Robinson was playing for the Dodgers the last time the tax rate was this low, just to give you a sense of the history and the consequence of this change. So we got that point, and I think that's a powerful signal that we have sent. But government has to do more. And what we call entrepreneurial government, which some people thought was an oxymoron, entrepreneurial and government, no. How can government be entrepreneurial? How can we partner? How can we incentivize? How can we facilitate? Do no harm is a good first step, but then how do you go beyond? And how can the New York State government work with this company to grow this company? Because we want your company to do well. We want you to prosper. We want you to create more jobs. So what can we do? The legislation we're signing today points in that direction. First, do no harm. This additional tax benefit, tax cost would have been devastating to breweries in this state. It would have been devastating. So this legislation makes sure there's an extension of a tax credit that the breweries desperately, desperately need. Reduce the regulations, so it reduces licensing requirements on small breweries. And then how do you go further? How do you incentivize the growth? How do you have a synergy among industries? So you're brewing here, which means you need hops. We have agriculture as a major economic force in the state of New York. How do we get a benefit for the agricultural community to produce the hops that are then used in brewing? How do we incentivize tourism, which is a major opportunity, I believe, long-term for this state, is the economic advantage that we have in tourism. How do we incentivize tourism for the craft brewery industry? That's what government is all about, and that's what this legislation does. Reduces the barriers, finds ways to incentivize growth. So it is a job well done to my colleagues in the legislature. It was my pleasure to be part of it. To the Matt family, your commitment to this community, your family's commitment, going back 100 years, is the greatest asset that this state has. We've always had a strong private sector, a determined private sector, a great spirit of entrepreneurism, and that's what made this state the Empire State. And we want you to know that you have a new partner who believes in you in New York State government, and we are committed to doing everything we can together to grow this business, to grow this community, to grow this state. Let's sign the bill. Thank you. Congratulations, Jim. Okay, thank you all very much. Thank you. Oh, we're going to toast the success. Oh, even better. That's why this is better than the red one.